this, black tea. Yeah. So chai also, it literally means tea in Hindi. So when people say chai tea, it's kind of a redundant kind of thing. So it's almost like they're saying tea. But I understand why they're saying, because they kind of want to make a difference between the regular teas and chai teas, so fine. I think the whole thing about the fact that all the teas come from the same place talks about, like, it reminds me of the interconnectedness of like humanity in general. Like there's this quote by Martin Luther King Jr. in his commencement address to Oberlin College in 1965. He says this, one of my favorite quotes. It says, "All mankind is tied together, all life is interrelated, and we are all caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny." Just love the word picture of MLK Jr. It's just so nice. Whatever affects one directly affects all what? Indirectly. For some strange reason, I can never be what I ought to be until you are what you ought to be. And you can never be what you ought to be until I am what I ought to be. This is the interrelated structure of reality. Love it. So nice, right? So let's just get started. I have this pot, and how do I operate this? This is my first time using this. This particular setup here. Is it good? Okay, cool. So with that, and we are going to make maybe, I don't know, 2 cups. So when I make chai, actually, I don't measure anything at all. It's just all eyeballing everything. So for now, the ratio that I use is like 1:1. So if I want to make like 2 cups of chai, I'm going to make like 1 cup of water to 1 cup of full-fat milk. So I'm going to do water first. Nice. Okay. And while the water is heating, we will get my lovely best friend to press up some ginger. We're going to make some masala chai. Maybe lower, actually. To start. I don't know how long this is going to take. But, so usually I put the ginger and the spices in the water first and then put the tea. While this is happening, I want to talk about some of the labor that goes into making chai. So in order to earn a daily wage of about 1,000 Sri Lankan rupees, which is about $4, okay, daily wage $4 a day, a tea blender would have to collect a minimum of 18 kilograms of tea. So that's like 40 pounds of green tea leaves, 40 pounds. Now, it would take about 2,000 to about 4,000 stems. So when you collect tea, you have to take the top 2 leaves plus the stems, and you have to collect about in between 2,000 and 4,000 stems to make like a single kilogram of tea, which, depending on the type of tea produced after factory processing, would approximately come to about 250 grams or 7.5 ounces of chai. So all like 4,000 stems of tea leaves becomes like maybe 7 ounces of like concentrate like chai after they go through the process of fermentation, drying, rolling, boiling, all this stuff. Okay, so water, I'm looking at the water and it's like ready for the ginger here. So we are going to add the ginger. The way I know this is by looking at the bubbles. So if I see small little bubbles that look like little spider eyes, sorry, folks, I am ready to put the ginger. I think that's quite a bit actually. It's okay. Someone's going to have some spicy ginger here. So maybe put some ginger. I wish there was like another camera here so that you can like see what's happening. It would be really cool to see that. So I have here, so maybe get rid of these ginger stuff. I have some cardamom, okay? Okay, I'm going to maybe put it low first because I'm going to offer it for now. And I'm going to put cardamom, about three parts of cardamom for about a cup of tea. Then I'm going to have some peppercorns. Hey, what's up? And then you have peppercorns, maybe like 4 whole peppercorns. Whole spices are very good, ideal, because what happens is when you crush the spices and keep it in the fridge, the flavors start to deteriorate over time. So I'm going to put some cloves, maybe 1 or 2 cloves actually, and then some fennel. Do you know what fennel is? It's like looks like this. Can you see fennel? Google it, it's there. Uncle Google knows everything, except Jesus. So, okay. I think we're good. I think I'm going to put 1 more cardamom because I'm feeling special today. So we'll put some more. And then I'm going to use cinnamon. Fun fact, cinnamon, cinnamon, like, bark of a tree, and then you peel it and then you dry it, and over time, basically you're just eating bark. Like that's cinnamon. Like you just crushed up bark of this sesame tree. Very nice. Okay, so let's go crush it, and then she's gonna crush up these spices. I've turned the heat off because I don't want it to boil. While she's crushing it, fun story about the crushed spices. So what we're doing here is masala chai. Masala means spice in Hindi. Okay. When the British came to India and they colonized India, they saw that they had a lot of tea. The way they actually had tea was it was just a teaspoon of tea, or something like this, a teeny tiny bit of sugar, and a spot of milk, right? And the British liked it. That's kind of how they drank their tea. And for the longest time, that's how they thought that it should be drunk, right? But so Indians, what actually happened is as kind of a way to protest against the colonization of the British, the Indians wanted to do their own thing with the tea, right? So what they did was like, okay, we're gonna put our own spices into the tea and see what can happen. And so they basically put the concoction of these spices, so cloves, cardamom, ginger, and they would put it and they would spice up their milk tea with a little less tea than the British would use as an act of protest. Because if you're using less tea, then it's less money for the British, right? So masala chai actually became an act of protest against the British during colonization. And so the British actually had their own propaganda. They were like, okay, well, let's not put spices. We have to bring British tea. But the Indians like the idea of like, no, this is our thing. You came to our land, you came to our tea, so we're going to do what we can with what we're going to do what we want with what the tea that we have in this land. So it caught on, and it was kind of crazy how like a lightly crushed spice, adding lightly crushed spices to the tea, to the chai, it was a protest against injustice and a protest against oppression and brutality, and which actually made them think that if they can actually confront the British with this in this area, they can actually also get independence from them eventually. So it catalyzed their independence from the British in the 1940s, and then Sri Lanka followed after. That's my country, 1948. As February 4th, 1948, Sri Lanka got independence. Yeah. Question.
So did India not drink tea before the British?
They did, but it was like I think they drank a lot of just like plain teas, and they didn't put milk in their teas. The earliest recorded way that people in India and also India used to drink tea was actually they would like chew the leaves just by itself. And till later on they found out that, oh wow, this can actually work well with water, and they would brew it. And then the British came and introduced milk, and it's like, oh, that's nice. And then the Indians are like, well, let's make it our own thing, and then put it on. Okay. So that's what we have now in masala chai. Right? Okay, I think we're good. The spices are crushed, and I'm going to put the heat back up. Okay, I'll leave it at 4, sweet. And the spices are done. I don't know if you can see it. Look at this. Oh, nice. Hey, can I have a view of this like later?
That's why he's doing it.
Huh?
That's why he's doing it.
Man, yes. Content. Love it. I'm addicted to content. Yes, content. That's so funny. Ooh, it smells good, bro. Very nice. Okay, spices in. Very nice. Okay, where's my spoon? And I'm just gonna mix it in. And okay. Spices and ginger added to the water, not to the milk. That's kind of how I do it because water is much thinner than milk, and so I want to spice it. I want to get a good flavor base before actually putting everything in. So yeah, that's good. So while this is happening, I'm going to look for some bubbles. As soon as the bubbles come, that's when I'm going to put some of the tea here. So, are we having a good time so far? Yeah. I'm thinking about my grandmother, as she was, because she never measured when she made tea. And, she kind of felt it. I was talking to somebody, I think I was talking to you, and how you were talking about maybe your grandfather had like a recipe of barbecue, but he never measured it, right? And about your families, like you have your recipes. and they never measure it, but you just know it's like, it slaps, like it's really, really good, right? And making chai sometimes without the recipe reminds me that sometimes the best things in life cannot be measured. You know, things like love, things like feel. Like, how do you measure feel? Especially musicians, you know, like once you get up on that piano, you know, you just feel like, okay, I'm in my zone. You can't kind of measure it. There's a certain way to measure stuff. And in the West, we are obsessed with metrics. Like, we are obsessed with, like, this is how it should be, this is how it should be. And the recipe in the West, I think, in many ways, has become a power text. So, like, for example, if you have a recipe, and then you're somehow better than somebody who doesn't, you know? So, okay, I'm gonna put some tea right now. So, one teaspoon of tea. It's very good. And mix it there nicely. Okay. I'm gonna let this kind of do its thing. Yeah, so I think mastery, when it comes to mastering things in our lives, I think it's not just about like exercising the love of habits, but also kind of cultivating habits of love. Meaning, like, basically, when it comes to doing the best in whatever you're doing, like, I think it's important for you to know, like, how is my mastery in this area? How is it expanding my capacity to love other people? And it's very important to think about that as we enter like a pandemic age. So something that's something that I have to keep in mind as I move forward. Okay, so tea's looking good. I want to let this kind of boil a little bit. Can you smell it or not? Not bad. Well, it sucks for you, but because it smells glorious right here. Yeah, but you're gonna have some tea later on. Hopefully it's nice. Actually, it's good. It's good. Okay, so we're gonna put some milk here. Okay, think about milk. One of the reasons why some of the chai recipes are not good is because y'all be using like, I don't know, some organic like rice milk and some other thin milk or milk drinks. I'm like, y'all need to chill. And just get like something full fat. Like, you need something thick, full fat milk is what you need for tea and for most things in life. All right. So here, milk. You gotta see the color change, okay? Look at that. Nice. They don't get to see it, but I know I'll get to see it. It's nice. Okay. Oh, you know what? You forgot? Oh snap. Do you have sugar? Oh snap.
I'll go get it.
Okay. We probably used all of the sugar, right?
Yeah.
Oh dang. Okay. I'm wondering if people have. Oh, someone said Ellen White would be proud. Okay. Imagine. Yeah, y'all, I'm making tea. I had like an Adventist conference. This is like. This is kind of crazy. Let's see. Oh my God. Okay. Maybe if you can get some sugar, that would be great. But if not. Oh, perfect. Okay. While that's happening, I'm gonna maybe put the. So what I'm doing right now is a process called aeration, right here, and it's just the process of putting air molecules into the tea, which kind of makes it creamier. Yeah, which is good. So let's see, put that here. And right there. Okay. While this is happening, I'm gonna try to taste it a little bit and see how it is. Here, hold this for a second. Thank you. It's good. We just need sugar. Sugar would make it. Okay. While this is brewing a little bit, thing about chai is that it's a feast of attention if you want it to be. You have to pay attention to the process, the whole thing. A good chai requires you to just focus, pay attention to all the specific stages, whatever's happening here. Because if you miss out, then it's gonna this whole thing's gonna boil over. I'll purposely kind of reduce the heat just a little bit because we'll wait for the sugar to come. And the thing about attention reminds me of this quote by a Singaporean author. You know, she talks about beauty, and this is what she says. She says, "Beauty is anything, an object, words on a page, the sound of music that stills the soul and fills it with joy, peace, and love. Artists have been given a gift from God, the ability to heal the soul. As I looked at those objects in Italy," so she goes to Italy and she sees all these objects, this writer. "As I looked at all those things, the more beauty I saw, and the more beautiful I felt inside. I began to understand a profound but simple truth. You become what you contemplate. You become what you contemplate." So basically this author was like, when I saw beauty around me, I felt beautiful. And so the things that you pay attention to make you who you are. You become what you pay attention to. You become what you behold. And so, especially right now, it's so important to keep in mind because attention right now is probably the most valuable currency in the information economy right now. Like, think about the advertising companies. Think about just the amount of money that goes into just making sure that they can harness your attention. Every swipe, every scroll, everything is just all contingent on attention. So attention, especially as we're moving towards the pandemic age, is going to be so valuable and for other people. And so if you don't pay attention to what you the things that you pay attention to, it's gonna, you gotta really kind of keep that in mind. You got sugar?
Not really, but that's all.
Wow, that's amazing. It's a sugar, but it's like a pinch. Okay, wow. Okay, let's do this. But it's great. We used all of the sugar for you guys outside in the chai. So you'll have good chai there. Okay? Good stuff. I'm gonna drink this, which is because I don't want you to taste this. Someone said, "I appreciate it." Wow. You didn't have to tell me that, bro. Like, that's a silent conversation between you and your mind. Jeez. After all I've done for you, bro. Dang. Okay. We're going to see something interesting in a few minutes. When you're making chai, you got to pay attention to the heat, but also to the boil. Because if you take the chai off too early, it's going to be too thin. The flavor's not going to be underdeveloped. If you're going to take it too late, this thing is going to boil over and it's going to spill over. So you have to pay attention. But what's interesting is that right now as I'm looking at it, I know it's boiling, but I'm still waiting for it to kind of rise up. Okay? The thing is, when you're making chai, it doesn't look like anything is changing under the surface. But it takes maybe just one more second. And all of a sudden, it's going to come. So, what you see as wasted heat is oftentimes stored heat for a breakthrough. What you see as wasted heat is sometimes stored heat for a breakthrough. And when you are going through your life and you're going through processes and you're just like, man, I'm going to do the same thing over and over again. It's like, man, it's only a matter of time. It just takes one more thing, one more step for you to just kind of go from where you were to where God wants you to be. And see, now things are happening here. There's a lot of activity. And yeah, I'm going to wait till it actually boils. See that? You don't see that, I'm sorry guys. But, so I wait till this thing all the way goes up top. And Yeah, it's good. Done. So it just came up and then it just went down. Right. So some of you might be thinking, oh man, I'm worthless, I'm wasting my time. No, you're not worthless, you're just steeping. You're just steeping. Let yourself steep. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna add the little bit of sugar that we have. That's literally all. How amazing. How anticlimactic, right? Y'all were thinking, oh, it's gonna be a lot of sugar. It's like a whisper of sugar. Okay, all right. Okay, let's aerate it now, or let's strain it. Okay. So all the solids are here. So I'm gonna just get all the little bits. Good stuff. All right, now we're gonna do something fun. Well, before I do this, you know what you can do with this? These are all the chai grounds, right? So this is just, it's really good stuff here. What you can do is you can rinse it off with water, get rid of all the sugar, and you can use it as compost. If you're doing plants, gardening, you can put this and, grow things. It's just kind of really cool, like how, as I was thinking about that, like how these things can lead to new beginnings. Like you can use this to raise up new plants and stuff like that. And I have a chapter in the book about grief as meditation on the grounds, because I talk about death and like how death can be like it is an end, but in many ways it can also be like a new beginning. It can open up our souls and our minds to like new ways of thinking about the people that we've loved and the people that we've lost, and so something kind of it's kind of something to think about, especially for us as Christians. We have this thing called hope, which is so powerful. So powerful, and it's a really a blessing that I think a lot of us take for granted when it comes to our faith. Yeah, good stuff. And now we have a cup, and so this is basically aeration, and so I don't have my usual equipment, but we'll make it work. That was a little hot actually. Okay. Good stuff. All right. I think this is what it looks like. Nice. I don't know if you guys can see it. So one of the best cups of chai that I've ever had was a couple of weeks after my wedding, about 4.5 years ago. Yeah, and we went to Sri Lanka for our honeymoon. And this guy bought his tea and took a sip. And I was like, "What is this? Just amazing cup of tea." And I asked him, like, what did you put in this thing? And he just said, "Well, it's just Sri Lankan milk tea, so Sri Lankan tea, and so we have condensed milk, and a little bit of sugar, and a little piece of ginger." And I was like, "Well, you should have done a little bit something more, because this is kind of how we drink tea in Sri Lanka." Exactly what he said. But somehow this, like, when I was drinking it, just felt different. It was just like so good. Everything was just perfect. And I asked him, "Are you keeping something from me? Like, let me know. Like, bro, like, what did you add? Like, did you add some, like, I don't know, just some secret ingredient or something?" I was like, "No, this is all I had." And I was sipping tea with Eileen, in Sri Lanka, and I just realized maybe the reason why that tea felt so good is not because of necessarily who made it, but who I was having it with. Right? Because here's the thing, Eileen and I have been long distance for about 4 years. Yeah, and then we had a long engagement for a year and a half. And so we were separated for a huge portion of our relationship. And so it was crazy that when we were in the same place, drinking tea together, just the realization that we don't have to say goodbyes anymore was so powerful. And so chai became kind of like a symbol of community for us, you know. It was just this elixir of love that we share with each other. And so yeah, sometimes the best chais are not necessarily because of the person who made it, but because of the company that you share it with, right? So and that's what chai invites you. It invites conversation, it invites community, and that's why I think like things like racism and prejudice and animosity, all these things, some of the best things to break those things is just to share a cup of chai with somebody else and share some food or a meal and have a conversation. You know, those things are powerful. And yeah, so let's see how they do. You want to try it? You want to try it? Yeah, I'll take this cup.
Okay.
That's good. No sugar, it's gonna be like, okay.
This will be fun.
Ah, it was perfect except for the sugar. It's like,
Well, that would have been really good.
yeah. So that, I was trying to taste all of the stuff. So this, okay, so fun fact about tasting, right? So in Sri Lanka and in India, you have tea tasters. So what they do is, once the tea is brewed and made and fermented, they put a little bit of tea in a little cup and they'll go like this. They go, nose it, smell all the notes, and then go, and they'll spit it. And just with that, they can taste if it comes from this part of the region or another part of the region. If there's what kind of notes it has, does it have caramel notes? Does it have copper? It's a coppery tone, ginger flavor. Just by the tea itself. There's no flavors, just the tea. So and it takes about 5 years for you to actually get to that place. So you have to apprentice under somebody like that. Which reminds me, actually, now that I think about it, this whole thing about discipleship with Jesus is actually it's an apprenticeship. You know, it's not just this whole thing about Christianity. This thing about activism is not just about like you following a set of like rules and hoping that it's going to change your life. No, it's actually about apprenticing under the master teacher and guide who is Jesus Christ. We talk about the way of Jesus. The early Christians talked about it as a way. They didn't talk about it as a system. They didn't talk about it as a religion. They didn't talk about it as like this thing, an institution. They talked about it as, okay, there is a way. So this is the way, right? Mandalorian, anybody? Yeah. This is the way, follow it, work with me, walk me, watch how I do it. And that's how novice tea tasters become master tea tasters. Not by learning something from an exam, not by testing it out, but by practicing it with somebody in community and living life with them, one day at a time, one step at a time. It's amazing. Yeah. Thank you guys, appreciate you.